Welcome to Silver Bar Stacker, folks. Hope everybody's doing well and having a wonderful weekend. And welcome to Stack Pack Sunday, where we've got a new SBS drop-in store. I know there's been a few people who have been eagerly awaiting this week's drop and to find out what exactly it is that's going to be included in this drop. And you might have gotten a little bit of an idea of what this week's drop is going to be featuring based off of the thumbnail of the video, as well as what you see here on the table. And yes, folks, you guessed it, we're going to have Engelhard 1-ounce bars available in this week's SBS drop. And because there has been quite an influx of traffic on the website, we have a feeling that there may be a little bit more interest in this week's drop. And so because of that, we've decided to double the amount of slots. And for those who are not familiar with the SBS drops, each week we do feature a product where we do an SBS drop, and it is actually limited to one entry per person. And so please be sure to read the instructions properly on the listing and make sure you're only grabbing one slot if there is even one available, because if you do purchase more, we will be refunding you, and there is actually a penalty for that. So please read the instructions carefully before you enter any of the SBS drops. But for this week's drop, those who are lucky enough to claim a slot are going to be guaranteed a 1-ounce Engelhard silver bar. And so very, very excited about this drop. Engelhard is, I would say, it makes up the largest part of our stack. We love Engelhard. In my view, Engelhard is really as premium as it gets when it comes to vintage, and that's just personal opinion, very subjective, of course, but I just love me my Engelhards. And so this week's drop, like I said, is going to be featuring stack packs. And so this week we don't have 5, we don't have 6, we actually have 10 available stack packs featuring 1-ounce bars. And there's actually a nice variation for this week's stack packs. We've got a nice variation of Engelhard bars here, and so let's take a look and see what we got here. They are all varying in mintage and design, and so let's go ahead and take a closer look at what the entries of this week's SBS drop are going to be in store for potentially adding to their stack. And so there's actually 5 here, which I'm going to go ahead and grab these right off the bat. So these 5 stack packs right here each contain unique bars. They each have a unique serial number, but they're each kind of the same type of bar, which is kind of a wide E logo. They're centered within that globe. And so this particular bar, this exact type, of course the unique serial number makes it a one-of-a-kind bar, but this particular bar type, there's roughly 400,000 of these minted according to allenhard.com. So there's 400,000 of these, 400,000 of these, 400,000 of these, 400,000 of these, 400,000 of these. Pretty cool bar. This is kind of like one of the most recognizable Engelhard 1-ounce silver bars, I would say. You see these very commonly, but then you start to get into some slight variation. So this is an E logo, right? This is an E logo bar. It's got a wide E, kind of a chunky E there in the middle of that globe. Now take a look at this one. That was 400,000 minted. Take a look at this one. It looks pretty similar, right? But you'll notice that this E is actually a little bit taller. And so this is what we like to call the tall E. Very similar bar to that one, but slight variation there. And so this is a tall E inside that globe. And so this is a 400,000 minted, but this is actually a 1.15 million minted. 1,150,000 of these minted. So quite a bit more common than this one. Now what makes this one unique though is that this is still in the original factory seal after all these years. So here you've got a higher mintage, but in the original factory seal, whereas on this one you've got a much lower mintage. It's like 1/3 fewer, 3 times fewer of these bars out there. But this isn't in the original seal. Some of these got a little bit of toning on them too. Now take a look at this. Here's one of the grand prizes, I would say. There's a 1 in 10 chance that you're going to win this. There's a 1 in 10 chance you're going to win that. There's a 1 in 10 chance you're going to win this, and this is 2 ounces. So this is the same bar that you see here, but this is 2 of them. So that's pretty cool. Here you got the diagonal. This is what you call the horizontal, or this is what you call the Engelhard like hallmark in the elongated octagon. It's a diagonal stamp. So this is 2 of them, 2 ounces. So for this drop slot, the one lucky winner who happens to claim this ends up getting 2 Engelhard bars. It's a pretty cool win right there, I would say. Now this one over here is a slight variation. This one is 400,000 minted as well, but this one right here, it's heavily toned. That's the first thing that you'll notice, heavily toned around the edges. If you look at it the light in the right way, it's bluish. But this is actually, if you look very closely, this is actually an EMC. So I don't know if you can see that. You might be able to get a better close-up shot on the website if you check out the drop, but this is an EMC logo. So right there you'll see an MC. So this is a different variation of the E logo. It's EMC. I think MC means like minerals company, something like that, something along those lines. Now here you got 2 Engelhard bars that are horizontal shaped, right? And they have that same Engelhard logo in the elongated octagon that I was talking about, that was stamped diagonally on the back of those bars, those vertical bars. But these are horizontal shaped, completely different 1 ounce bar, but still an Engelhard. Now these two, 1 in 10 chance of getting this, 1 in 10 chance of getting this. These 2 bars also differ on the backs. So on this side you got a frosted back with a border, whereas on this one you've got the same Engelhard logo in an elongated octagon stamped diagonally on the back, right? And so the mintage is different on these as well. The mintage on this frosted back is this particular frosted back. There's different variations of the frosted back as well. Okay, but this particular frosted back is 800,000 minted, whereas this one is 500,000 minted. So in reality, this one you have a 1 in 10 chance winning. This one you have a 1 in 10 chance winning. But these are actually higher mintage than these ones, right? Or not these ones. Yeah, these ones. So it's just kind of interesting. There's just a smorgasbord of variation of Engelhard bars that you can be claiming on this week's drop, and so I think I hope everyone's going to be happy, because I hope you'll be happy to know that this week's drop's price is going to be $35, which I think is quite a competitive price. I don't personally see any Engelhard 1 ounce bars out there, and in this case there's even a chance you might even win 2. So yeah, I just think it's a pretty competitive deal. And so especially if you're stacking savings, if you're a smart stacker and you're stacking savings, if you have like a monthly sub. I know we got one individual who's got a copper tier subscription, and so if you got like a monthly sub or something like that and you're stacking savings, or if you're a past eBay customer and you happen to have a coupon code, in fact, there's actually additional benefits. If you're a subscriber, you actually get a one-time discount per month on one of the drops if you happen to claim one. And so the one copper tier subscriber that we have, they've already claimed their discount, so they got a discount on last week's drop. One of the entries of last week, they're a copper tier subscriber. They ended up getting $5 off of last week's drop. So everybody was talking about how good of a deal the $35 JM bars or the $40 A-Mark bars were, but in reality that person got $5 off of that, and I think I screwed up the price. I think it was $30 JM bars and $35 A-Marks, but regardless, so you gotta be a savvy stacker, smart stacker. When you're stacking, you gotta kind of calculate the deals, do the math, and figure out what's a deal and what's not. So anyways, I hope everybody's excited about this week's drop. If you'll notice on the website, it actually has not gone live yet, and that's because I would like everybody to just be patient. I'd like to allow people to do their proper research, maybe investigate some of the past drops that have been sold out, maybe kind of read the instructions on those, see how things work. And once everybody's kind of done their research, then we'll allow everybody a fair chance to kind of get their accounts created and, have a chance of claiming one of these drops. In the meantime, I wanted to I know it's been a long video here, but I wanted to unpack some packages I got from Canada, and then also go over kind of a little bit of emails that I found very interesting that I kind of had with one of my suppliers. One of my suppliers in Canada, actually. So I'd like to go over that, but first let's go ahead and check out the mail. And this stuff we have got from Canada, and I just absolutely think it's hilarious when somebody uses this many stamps. I find it super cool, and I actually do save them all. And the person at USPS thought it was really, really obnoxious, and she said this is very difficult. But I think she was just making conversation. I think deep down she really appreciated it as much as I do. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got in store. As you can see, I'm taking my care to open this, as I do not want to waste this. I would actually like to save this if at all possible. Great. Looks like it's a 10-ounce bar. That's what it feels like, at least. Not mad about that. Let's take a look at what this is. Oh, TD Bank. Interesting. Oh, it's a TD Bank Johnson Matthey 10-ounce bar. Very nice. Cool. Take a look at that later. We might save that for TD Tuesday. I'm not even going to show you that today. How about? Because it's in the interest of time. It's not because I'm trying to build hype or anything. It's just that TD Tuesdays, that's when we should look at the new TD stuff. So, in the interest of time, in the interest of not making everybody wait super long for this week's drop, we'll save this for upcoming Tuesday. And how about we'll also do another SBS drop on Tuesday as well. We'll do an SBS drop on TD Tuesday as well. So keep an eye out for that. And so one of my suppliers, they had we've been having a conversation with them, and it's been an interesting conversation. Because they sent this via FedEx. I had nothing but issues getting this package, okay? And so what ended up happening, and this is the second time that this has happened with my packages that have come through FedEx, is that basically I had to drive really, really far to go pick this thing up. They don't deliver to PO boxes, I guess. And on top of that, what my supplier in Canada was telling me was that they're saying that they no longer deliver silver and gold bullion from Canada to the United States. And so from now on, they've started using Canada Post because they're the only people who allow it. In fact, they started looking into using, I think, UPS. And UPS was also saying that they have the same rules. Purolator, which is another company out there, they have the same rules. And so what's ending up happening now is that nobody is allowing you to send silver or gold bullion from Canada to the US. And furthermore, and I'm really glad that somebody has confirmed this or reaffirmed this, because it has been a problem with multiple customers of mine since I started selling on eBay, where eBay collects tax illegally. Like they collect tax from some of my buyers when they're not supposed to. And furthermore, when I make purchases, they'll collect tax and they'll charge me tax when they're not supposed to. And I asked them specifically about this multiple times. I said I wanted to speak to a manager about this, and I specifically told them, you're not allowed to be collecting tax. This is illegal in this state. The purchase is over $1,500. You're not allowed to collect tax. Furthermore, in other states where they have similar laws, I had a customer in Texas who had purchased and they were charged tax, and I said, look, I can't do anything because I'm not the one who charged you and collected that tax. and I'm not allowed to. I'm not the one who has that money, nor did I withhold it. So how am I supposed to refund you it? But I ultimately ended up refunding them anyways because I had to, because I knew they were telling the truth, and I knew that what they were telling me wasn't BS, because they do this. eBay did the same thing to me, where they illegally charged me tax. So there is a string of issues. It's not just about illegally withholding money, right? I hate to get back into that, but it's not just about illegally withholding money. It's about also collecting tax and never refunding it back to the customers when there was never any tax. What's happening to that money exactly, right? You get what I'm saying? And so that's illegal as well. And so that's kind of like reeks of a class action lawsuit right there. But anyways, what the reason I was talking about this is because this is a supplier of mine actually in Canada that I was speaking to, and he was talking about these same issues. He was telling me they're halting all their business on eBay, period, by the end of the year. And he was basically saying that he honestly thinks that we're headed into a situation where we're not going to be able to ship silver and gold from Canada to the US anymore, period. So it's just really like devastating for small businesses who are kind of reliant on that sort of international trade. But regardless, it's just very, very interesting to just think about what's going to be happening in the future. Like the trend of the future does not look good for now. And so what my supplier was saying was, he was saying, like, on the brighter side, it will get better in a few years, but the real money will not be flowing to the people who are unaware of the situation. You know, all they will have controlled is digital fake money. So it just was a wild conversation that I was having with my supplier. It's just so much to unpack, really. And so I think the best thing to do is just take a look at these beautiful bars. This is a Tier 1 Johnson Matthey bar. Produced for Royal Bank. Look at that shine. It's just a mirror finish. 10 ounces. And look at that stamping on the back. How cool is that? Serial number 2492. And so this is a pretty low serial number, I would say. Do get a couple more of these where the serial's a little bit higher. So I just found that to be a really, really nice bar. Super happy to pick that one up. It's gonna really, you know, if what my supplier is saying is true, it's just gonna be quite a shame, you know, because we got so many cool pieces right here. Like, this is a Scotia Bank right here, 5-ounce bar pressed. This is another Tier 1 bar. It's a 500 minted bar right here, Johnson Matthey. And not only is that a Tier 1 bar, it's in the original seal as well. Unreal. So that's all it is, you know. I hate banks, but it's a love-hate relationship. That's all I got to tell you, you know. And, you know, we're not reliant on banks unless we need to be. So I try to be as unreliant on banks, and just because I use banks, it doesn't mean that I like them, you know. It doesn't mean that I love them, you know. I still hate banks. Anyways, have a good one. Cheers. Enjoy the drop, and I wish you the best of luck if you can grab one of those slots.